does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review and a special Kickstarter review. And today we're excited to check out Barker's Row from Overworld Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, taking about, 20, 30, 40 minutes to play. Probably for about ages 10 plus. And in Barker's Row, you are a carny trying to get people to come to your carnival attraction. You're going to be barking at them, yelling at them, trying to get over there, and then unlock attractions, which will then give you special one-time use abilities you will be able to use throughout the game. It's light, it's simple, but is it good? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Barker's Row. Before we get started, as always I like to mention this is the promotional copy I have in front of me, so take everything you see here with a grain of salt. So first and foremost, we got our handy dandy rule book. It's about 13, 14 pages, double-sided, full of color, full of plenty of pictures, illustrations, examples. It's very well done, and it should have you up and running in no time. And also, big thumbs up on the rule booklet. So in Barker's Row, you're going to be playing as a carny, and you're going to be trying to get rubes into your seats here. You're going to have 12 seats. First person to fill up all of their seats with the little meeples will be the winner of the game. You are going to get these meeples by completing attraction cards, which will be these big tarot-sized cards. Now, I just want to show you a little bit of the artwork. It's very, very nice artwork, but for the most part, this one does not have artwork. Obviously, I have to look at the Kickstarter page for that sort of thing. So you're going to be able to complete those attractions. How you're going to be able to complete those attractions is by acquiring these cards right here and getting as many as you have on the strength track over there. So those are the components, but let's show you how it works and it'll make a lot more sense. Now, first and foremost, there's no player aid card. It's actually on the back of your grandstand, which I thought was a really nice use of space right there. So on your turn, the first thing you're just going to do is you're going to play a card from Barker's Row into the midway. This right here is Barker's Row. You're going to have 3 cards right here, and you are going to have to choose one of these cards to put down here. Now, why are you putting those cards down here? Because, as I mentioned, that's how you're going to score the attraction cards. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to get 5 attraction cards. Now, each attraction card in the game is different, and once you complete it, it will give you its own unique special ability. Yeah, all of these have their own unique special ability, which is something I always love when a game tries to pull that off. Now, at the beginning of the game, you're going to get 5, you're going to keep 3. They recommend keeping 3 of the different suits. I wholeheartedly suggest that as well, unless, of course, you have 2 that would really sync up well together. So you know what? I'll take these 3 right here. You put these back on the pile, you're going to reshuffle, and once everyone's done that, you're ready to play the game. So let's show you what you're going to do on your turn. As I mentioned, you are going to play a card from Barker's Row into the midway. Now, you're going to play one of these 3 cards right here, and yes, they're freaks, they're oddies, they're whatnot, but what you really want to be looking at is the color. So for me personally, I have green, I have yellow, and I have pink, so any one of these is going to help. I also get to see that the next card that's going to come out is going to be a wild, but it won't be mine, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just take this yellow right here. Now, this card does not go in front of me. It actually goes out in the center. This is not my card. This card is for everyone. And I'll show you how that works in a second. Then this wild would go right there, immediately replenish, and then I would see if I could perform any more actions. So over here we have the optional actions you can take on your turn. So the first thing you can do is you can score an attraction. And how that works is you have to have this number of any one of these 4 colors. So I would need 4 yellow, 4 green, or 4 purple. Right now, all I have is 1 yellow, so obviously I could not score. But if you did score an attraction, what you would do is you would discard that number of things from Barker's Row. So let's just set it up so I can show you. We'll say we got a wild over here, we got this yellow, we got a green. So boom, it gets to my turn, and here we go. This is what has happened out on the board. And I look over here and say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and score a yellow. So when I score an attraction, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 4 points that I used to score it. So 2, 3, 4, boom, these are gone. They go over here. If the deck runs out, you will reshuffle. So next I'm going to move my tower marker. So this is my tower strength marker right here. So I will move it up 1 on the track. So as you can see, there's a star with a 2 right here, which means I'm going to add 2 rubes to my grandstand. So I'd go ahead and I just go bloop, bloop, put those guys on my grandstand, and then I'm going to draw a new attraction card to replace the one that I just did. Now this one right here, I don't have to use this special ability until I choose to use it. Once I use that, well, I'll show you how that works in a second. So I'll just put this right down here, tilt it so I know that it's not, that I haven't used it, and now I would be on my merry way. Now, next time I score an attraction, though, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because now I need 5 points instead of 4 points to do it. So going back to this example, so let's say this was out here, I would have to take this wild and use that, and then I could score. Now, how the wilds work are, you don't put them on one particular pile. So when I get this, I'm not saying, oh, this is a green wild, or this is a red wild, this is a yellow wild. It just goes out on its own, and anyone can use it for any color on their turn. So that's how you're going to score an attraction. Next, you can use an attraction. And you can do this on your turn as many times as you want, as many attractions as you want. You can also score more than one attraction. So let's just see that there was a 4 green out here and a 4 red and a 5 yellow. I could score the 4 red and then the 5 yellow. You can score as many of these cards as you physically can on your turn. It's a very free form after you've played your 1 card into Barker's Row. So how I use an attraction is it's pretty simple. I just read the text on the card and say, I'm going to do this. So play 1 card from the Barker deck into the midway. If it is a 1 card, continue playing cards from the Barker deck into the midway until a 1+ card, 2 card, or 3 card is played. So let's see. I'm going to go with this one right here. I'm hoping this is a 1, and it is, in fact, a 1. So that is good for me. So now what I get to do is I get to continue playing cards from the Barker deck into the midway until a 1+, 2, or 3 card is played. So right now, I'm hoping just for a 1. So, oh, I got a 1+, which kind of stinks. Now, normally, a 1+ would be good. When you get a 1+ normally, that means you get to draw another card, which would be great. But let's take a look at what happened. Because I played this card, and now I put it face down in front of me, I still keep it because there are some cards that might potentially score points based off of it. But I just keep it face down. So let's look out here. Now there's 5 green, which means, bada boom, I could now score this card. So I say, you know what? I'm going to take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put this over here in the score pile, move myself up on the track, get my 2 rubes. I'm going to be on my merry way. And then I would draw another attraction. And if I wanted to, I could use this special ability even though I just gained it. So the last action you can take on your turn, and one you're probably not going to do too terribly often because it can really hurt you, is you can dismiss attraction. So let's just say I get into an unfortunate position where this is my hand. And I'm just like, oh, 3 pink, this is so bad. You can dismiss attractions. What that means is you're going to go up 1 on this track, but you're not going to get the two meeples, which really does stink. So I go boom up to here. But I get to draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards. So obviously with this one, I'd say I'm going to get rid of these. And now I would have 3 new cards. So not an ideal move to do. Also, if you're ever up here on the 10, you cannot do that move. But if you're at the 10 and you're having to dismiss, then you're probably in a world of hurt. But anywho, you're going to continue to go until someone has filled up their grandstand, at which point they will be the winner of Barker's Row. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game's played. Alrighty then, Barker's Row from Overworld Games. Coming to a Kickstarter near you very, very soon. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. Before we get started though, I want to mention, I think this is their first foray, Overworld Games, into non-social deduction, hidden role types of games. They've got Leaders of Euphoria, Good Cop, Bad Cop, New Salem, Booze Barons. So this is their first real foray outside of that realm, and I will say for the most part, I feel like it succeeds. I do think a lot of people are going to enjoy this game, but we'll talk more about that in the pros. So on the con side, 2 to 4 players, very restricted player count, very heavily contested market at the 2 to 4 players. Also, the game is very light, it's very simple, which will be a turnoff to some people. Most of the choices you make on your turn are going to be pretty straightforward. You look out there, you say, oh, I got green, orange, or orange. I don't have an orange card in my hand. You know what? I'm probably going to take the green. And then you get to the part where it's like, all right, I'm going to score this. And most of the time, there's never a reason why you wouldn't score an attraction. Like, everything you do in this game feels like it's pretty straightforward, like, I should make that move. But that being said, the special abilities and when you use the special abilities are really what give the game an interesting twist and really make you think a little bit about, should I hold on to this card so maybe I can stack it up with another card? what should I do with it? And that aspect I really did like. But for the most part, it is a very light, simple game, which will be a turnoff to some people. Another comment I have with this game is that I feel like the artwork might turn off some people in the family crowd. Because I do feel like this is an ideal family game, and it's not too heavy. I'd say it's like Gateway Plus. I think it's not a Gateway game because of how much stuff is on those attraction cards and how you have to do different things. But Gateway Plus, I could definitely see this being that sort of game. But the artwork is a little bit dark, it's a little bit creepy, which I personally love, but I do see that turning off some families potentially. Any other cons that I have with the game? I mean, not really. As long as you go into it knowing it's a light, simple game, knowing that it's 2 to 4 players, I think you're really going to enjoy... Oh, last but not least, this is one of the cons that I did want to mention, is that while I feel like most of the attraction cards are very well balanced, some of them just seem better than other ones, and some of them can potentially swing the game. Like, there's some cards that are kind of like gambly cards, which I love, but like I actually did the middle part where it's like, as long as you don't draw this card, you can keep drawing. Or if you draw this card, then you get 3 meeples. And 3 meeples is a lot of meeples. But that might be a turn off to some people. I feel like the game's short enough that it didn't really bug me though, but that's a your mileage may vary kind of thing. Moving on to the pros, I enjoyed Barker's Row. There's a lot to like about this game. First and foremost, let's get it out of the way. The artwork is gorgeous. I'm not a huge artwork guy. It normally doesn't tickle my fancy. I normally don't care about artwork. But man, I love this artwork. And I wanted to see more of the pictures. And I love the art and the art design in this game. Also, I felt like the graphic design was pretty well done. I love how varied the attractions are. And that is just... that's impressive. That's a lot of attraction cards right there. That's a lot of play testing. That's a lot of balancing right there. And each one does its own unique thing. And I think that's really cool. And also the different colors have their own unique kind of flavor, which I liked as well. So I was a big fan of the different attraction cards and trying to be like, oh, if I could get this card and I could get this card and I could stack them both together and maybe I could pull off this super awesome turn. And that's really what this game boils into a lot of time, is like, who can have the most super awesome turn where it's like, I got to draw 5 cards on my turn and level up 3 times. I also like the catch-up AI in this game. Now, that's going to be something that could be a pro or could be a con, depending on your opinion. But I personally liked it. I felt like it was nice and subtle where, you know, if someone is going for their last 2 meeples and they're about to win the game, it's going to be much more difficult for them to get those 2 meeples than, say, for you to get your meeples if you only have 6 meeples. Because you're going to be lower on the strength track, which means you need less numbers, and then you're going to be taking the numbers, taking the colors that they might want to take, and I did like how that balanced itself out. You're always, for the most part, going to have competitive games of this game, which is a good thing. I think this is a good family game if you can get past the artwork. I feel like this is a good Gateway Plus game. I feel like it has enough meat on the bones and interesting decisions with those attractions that this is still a game night as well. I liked it 2 players, I liked it 3 players, I liked it 4 players. Overall, I can recommend Barker's Row if you were in the market for a 2 to 4 player lighter weight game. That really is what it boils down to. 2 to 4 players, very heavily contested market, but I think the artwork and I think a lot of those interesting attractions might be what set this game apart. That's Barker's Row from Overworld Games, one that I can recommend if you're in the market for this sort of thing. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Do you have any stories related to carnies? And since I'm asking this question, why, yes, I do. There was this girl named Allie. I used to date her. We actually went to high school together. Oh my gosh, she was a terrible, terrible person. I could tell you more about that if you message me. But yeah, I was this close to dating her, and I'm so glad I didn't, because she actually broke up with me because she wanted to go date carnies because our annual Three Rivers Festival came around, and she said every year she would break up with whatever boyfriend she was with so she could go date carnies. Oh my gosh, it sounds so much worse saying it now. So yes, that's my carny story. I got dumped, quasi-dumped, even though we weren't technically together yet, so a woman could go be flirtatious with carnies. So yeah, that's my carny story. But let me know, do you have any carny stories in the comments below? As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.